Hey guys, it's a beautiful afternoon. Just going to go on live today with Kellie Ralph. So, Kellie is the founder, creator, the writer, and director of the Ricochet documentary film, which is about the Amazon. And Kellie's been over there filming and getting interviews with people on the ground in the Amazon, finding out, the real impact of the issues we're hearing about deforestation on the people, the plants, the animals, and what it's really like. So a lot of research since the Amazon issues sort of came into public awareness a lot during August. So it's a project's been in the development for quite a while. But to hear her perspective on this, so hoping Kel jumps on. I have tagged her, and hopefully she is going to jump, and that this will be working. This is the technology part of the Facebook Live. It's always a gift when it does. Hey Kellie, thanks for jumping on. How are you?
Hey Sam, good. How are you?
I am really good. So good to be jumping on with you today. I know you and I have been talking about this for a while because I'm creating this Awaken event for Saturday, particularly around the Amazon and the issues there and the people. And your project was it's a powerful gift to the world, and I really wanted to give people an opportunity to learn about it, to hear some of your journey in creating this and what you've learned. And I just shared, actually, while I was waiting for you, a little bit about Ricochet and what you've been doing. So would you mind telling us a little bit, like, what is Ricochet from the way you see it? What's the message about?
Yeah. So it is a film documentary. However, we're still in the production stages. So we just came back from the Amazon last month. The tagline of the film is "Their future is our future." So it's about the Amazon and its people, and why the Amazon is so important, and the indigenous people there. They are the first line of defense against deforestation.
Yeah.
So the importance of the knowledge that they hold, and it's been a journey since being over there, coming back and going into the next kind of just sat on a stick.
So you're not in the Amazon now. You're in the rainforest, but you're in Australia, right?
Yeah, so I live up in Springbrook National Park. Thought I'd come outside to film because I've got a dog at home that's barking at 4 o'clock. So I'm like, yes, come out here and get sticks.
Awesome.
Yes, so yes. So we've been back for about a month.
Perfect. What inspired you to actually start this project? Like, where did the deep connection to the Amazon come from?
I lived over there in 2012 and 2013. So I actually put something on Instagram today. I volunteered at an organization that were, I guess, an animal refuge in Bolivia for almost 5 months. So they were in the heart of the Amazon, down at the southern end, I guess, of the Amazon. So started learning about the Amazon there, and especially the amount of destruction that we cause. Like, all the animals that were there because of humans, and not because of so learning about that, or their habitats have been have been devastated by deforestation. So that was where I first started to comprehend what was going on in the Amazon, just a little bit. And then in October of 2012, I was very fortunate enough to meet a Wetito man up near Iquitos. And I had spent no more than 24 hours with him. And then life kind of booted me out and on my way to integrate some of that knowledge. And then exactly a year later, I returned and spent a month or so living with him and his family. And during that time, I started to really realize how much I didn't know. Or as they say, how much you don't know, you don't know. I'd had depression for about 10 years before that, so that was my intention of going to living with him. And I guess the gifts that he bestowed upon me, they didn't quite happen overnight. It took a few years of integration, but what came about after that depression somewhat leaving was filled with a lot of gratitude towards what he, I guess, gave me in return. And from that, I guess the research has gone into, what the hell did I experience? What do these people know? And why isn't it common knowledge? And what the heck is happening in the world? And why don't people know about it? So I guess that's really the intention behind the film, is to give these people a voice. Yeah.
I know when we were talking earlier, you mentioned a little bit about how they see nature compared to how we see nature. Would you love to
Oh,
share that?
totally.
Because that was such a big point for me when you shared it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I can't remember how we were talking about, but one of the biggest things is that I guess in our society we are so disconnected from nature that we don't fully realize that we are separate from it. However, you go over there and you ask them, what's the word for nature? You'd like, like what we have in Australia or around the world in the Western concept of everything apart from human. And they don't have that word. They see everything as nature. We are not separate. So they also, when you talk to them about that, they kind of see that as why there's been so much destruction to nature is due to our separation from it.
Yeah. And that's so huge that even our language is so fundamentally starting that conversation of separation already. Like, I was just like,
Yeah,
far out. Like, how many miscommunications because of stuff like that?
right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So when did Ricochet start? How did this project get started?
Okay. I guess it started with me writing a script and then giving up the courage to talk about it because my background's in photography, not film. So last year in August, I guess I started trying to gather a team together, a plan, and it slowly kind of came together. Look at me breaking up sticks as I talk.
I'm doing the same with glass here. It's all good. I'm doing the same. We're good.
Yeah, so it started, I guess, in August last year. I kind of made it a bit public, and then this year, just I guess, with the luck of Natalie Vera having, I guess, the opportunity to go over to Peru with her to film. She offered to be. She's been doing film for over a decade and had retired, I guess, in a sense of doing documentaries. However, she said, "I will be a producer. I am going to be over there," and there was a small chunk of time had opened up where all these Indigenous people who were medicine men and women were coming together under the, almost you could say, somewhat the same roof, which would make it a lot easier to do the filming. There'd be translators. However, on some days there were not. There were a lot.
Stretch your
So
Spanish a little.
Spanish and Portuguese.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, it kind of very grateful to the people that were a part of it, because I mean this is completely independent film that we put a campaign out. We used GoFundMe. We were tossing up between using Indiegogo and Kickstarter, and GoFundMe seemed to be the right one to go with at the time, and so many people jumped on board and comprehended that this film was important and need to be made. So it's getting made because of the people that have been donating to making this happen, I guess. And I'm super grateful to bring this project to life and give Indigenous people a voice and share their message with the world.
So that's sort of been stage one, like that development, and then this initial launch and that boost of getting all those ground level interviews happening. So I'm, and then you came back and we had the fires over there, and like this getting the Amazon coming back into public awareness again. How has that shifted this for you, or your research direction, or because I honestly, every time I talk to you, you're like, I've been researching like 24 hours a day.
I know, I get obsessed. Yeah, like, are the fires happening? Are they real? Where are they happening? Oh no,
Haven't they
I
always
was
been
actually,
happening? It's like, oh, so many
yeah.
questions.
I know, I was up in Darwin when I guess it made headlines, and I had a post on Facebook that went somewhat viral or whatever. And the amount of comments on there were just completely like blowing my mind. Like, oh my God, I forgot this is how people see the world. And I'm sitting there having breakfast with my brother, and we're looking at some of the news articles that had become mainstream. My brother's like, hold on a minute. I'm confused. Like, say, for example, your house is burning down. This is like in reference to Bolsonaro, the prime minister, the president, and him being
Of
like,
Brazil,
"Who did
right?
this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who did this? Who did this thing over here?" It's like, if your house is burning down, would you be like, instead of putting it out, wouldn't you be like trying to blame
Pointing
someone or
fingers,
figure out
yeah.
who did it?
We'll
Like,
find out
now
who
is not
did
the
it. Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
so it's quite interesting just to see how he played out, because 64% of the Amazon is in Brazil, and he took charge of that, and he got he got voted in October last year. But he's been the president since the 1st of January, and one of the first things he did was actually remove Indigenous land rights over to their agriculture minister. So he's pretty
Mm.
much been telling people that the Amazon is up for sale, and so he just how
Fuck
he was
that.
painted in such. Yeah,
I'll say it
yeah,
if you're
fuck
not
that.
going
Yeah,
to.
no, fuck
Oh.
that. And for a very long time, they've struggled, regardless of who's been president, to have their rights.
Mm.
There's been a lot of this is a really sad topic, but there's been a lot of genocide that's been happening since since the very start, where the Spanish first conquered South America, and since the rubber trade 100 years ago, since the missionaries, and it's just never spoken about. And right now, there's still this happening, and it's still not making headlines, and still people don't care.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, we can get into the science of why the Amazon matters. Like, oh wait, it's the oxygen, no, it's the moisture, no, it's the humidity, no,
The
it's
animals and the
whatever it
plants.
is.
Yep. Mm.
Yeah, biodiversity. But I mean, you go back to the basics of it. Human rights violations are happening to people that are protecting their homes, that has been their homes for thousands of years. And along the way, you're also getting Indigenous knowledge completely wiped out, because these people are losing their culture. And
Mm.
their culture is so important. Going back to, against my reason of wanting to do this film is giving these people a voice, and realizing that there's a saying in Suriname that Mark Plotkin, the founder or co-founder of the Amazon conservation team, talks about, and that is that rainforests hold answers to questions we're yet to ask. And
Mm.
the amount of knowledge that is bestowed upon these people, that is passed down ancestrally, is just incredible knowledge. And people in the Western world don't comprehend quite how phenomenal some of their knowledge is.
Mm.
And when they do, maybe someone comes along into one of their tribes and gets information about a specific plant and what it does and how that can cure common Western diseases, they then take them back to the labs back in their countries and synthesize it and patent it. And these people don't get a cent for their knowledge.
Mm.
And just, there's a lot of politics involved with this, but
Yeah.
there's
But
a lot of things that the
mm. To have reached the point where the government's basically saying, look, it kind of is genocide, but, suck it up. Like, it is not cool. And I'm paraphrasing, and you're probably a bit too you're a bit too specific and detailed and comprehensive a researcher. But there's a lot of political statements I've read that he's said are essentially that, look, the minority needs to learn how to conform to the needs of the majority. Like it's saying that we see this is happening and we don't care, and it's not
yeah.
okay. Um,
Mm-hmm.
well, I'm all fired up now too.
Yeah, it's
uh,
it's once you start going down that rabbit hole, it's hard not
yeah.
to get passionate.
It's really hard not to get passionate about, but sitting on this side of the world, like, what do we do with that passion? And I know that's one of the questions that drives you too.
That's probably the biggest thing that happened or has come up for me since I've been back is, especially with social media, we can all say, hey, look at that thing that's happening over there. Everyone look at it, and everyone's looking at it, but it's still
Still
happening.
burning. Yeah.
So
Oh.
taking back into responsibility, what can we do? What are some of the things that we can do on a day-to-day basis? So the name of the film is called Ricochet, because of the ricochet effect that the Amazon has on the rest of the world. But on a more positive note, we can look at the ricochet effect that we can have on the rest of the world. Especially on the Amazon, we can start looking at what we do on a day-to-day basis that makes a difference. So
Mm.
I was talking to Natalie the other day about this, and it's like the simplicity of our phones, like looking at where the metals come from. There's a huge amount of illegal gold mining that happens in the Amazon that doesn't get spoken about. And that illegal mining leads to the rivers getting poisoned with mercury. Because it's illegal mining, they're not actually doing it correctly. And so learning about how we consume and where our things come from, consuming less paper, maybe eating less beef, know your chain, find out where the things that you consume and buy come from, and
Mm.
go from there. That's the very first basic step, like what Gandhi said. If you want
Mm.
to see change in the world,
Yep.
be the change.
Yep.
And then we can go up in tiers from there. And I think the biggest thing of all, which will probably be spoken more about it at at the at the
Awaken
event on the
and yep.
weekend, yeah, is when, as we awaken, like spending time with this Watito man that I was talking about in 2012 and 2013. As I came out of my own trauma, out of my own depression, I started to not just see the world that I was living in, but I started to start to see the world and go, oh my God, that is so fucked up. And part of that awakening, I guess you could say, of that waking up to my own sense and responsibility as a person and how I actually affect the world, is realizing that, yeah, there's that awareness of where does it start. You can blame other people, but the responsibility can come back to you. And then from there, you can make more conscious decisions.
Awesome. It's been incredible to talk to you today. I know we've had a few friends jump on and say hi, and it's been really wonderful. I cannot wait to see some of the snippets of the film or the pictures of, and hear about who you've been interviewing at the event on the weekend. So excited for
Yes,
that. And if you
it'll be
guys
so
out
fun,
there,
Sam.
yeah, it's going to be so much fun. If you guys out there really want to know more about this project, I have actually tagged Ricochet here. I'll put the link below as well in the comments.
Thank you, Sam.
But go check out the project, follow the page, like and share the comment, like their posts, the awareness raising that they're doing. Contribute to the project. We're at the point where the next phase of funding is to the production. You're telling me all the translating of some of the footage you've got, and actually finding the next batch of interviews to fill out this script and get this film made. So, it does take a tribe or a team of us, to actually support this. It's not a one-person mission, even though I'm so fucking grateful you stepped up to take this mission out, Kel.
Well, that
It's so
was part
needed.
of your help. Thank you. And also, Danny, if watches this, he's been helping me translate the Portuguese. So
Yep.
thank you, Danny. I'm so appreciative.
Yep.
And
Any other
every
shout
person
outs
that's
or
helped
thanks
out.
you want to give at this point, or?
To every single person that I have met on my path,
Yeah.
and everyone that has donated so far or is yet to donate, and my family and you and
Yeah.
Jeff and Nat and Emma and everybody. I'm so grateful to really bring this project to life. And we have got the bones of the film now.
Yeah.
It's just about filling it in with more interviews and giving these people credibility through anthropobotanists and ethnobotanists and
Yep.
beautiful environmental
Yep.
scientists. So, yeah.
And is there any particular sort of support? Like I mentioned, people being able to contribute to the project or follow the page. Is there any other support or resources, resources or connections, or is there any sort of support that would be really helpful at this time? Equipment? What do you need? How can we help? Is what I'm.
Yes.
Yeah. What do we need?
Definitely equipment, because obviously the bigger the budget, the better the quality. But right now, I guess for me, would be just, yeah, send me a message. Say what you've got to, if you want to be a part of it. I believe that we're,
Yeah.
this is a team thing. I've learnt the hard way.
Yeah.
So anyone that's wanting to reach out with any skills, because we all have these beautiful skills that we can all use to be a part of something. So if you'd like to be a part of Ricochet, I'm so open to creating a larger team.
Yeah.
People wanting to donate a bit of time, we can chat and figure out what we can do together, because that's the main aim.
Sounds incredible. Thanks, Kelly. Thanks so much. And I really love what you're doing. Talk soon, hey?
Thanks, Sammy. See you Saturday.
Bye.